Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Hello and welcome to Phoenix Business RadioX, broadcasting live from the Max 6 Entrepreneurial Center right here in Tempe, Arizona, where we help build businesses and connect you with the right people. I'm Karen Nowicki, and I'm very excited to be here with the Greater Phoenix Equality Chamber of Commerce Board Chair Michael Mazzocco. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
I am too. And we have Gabe from Brick Road Coffee to thank for our introduction.
Yes, we do.
So shout out to our friends at Brick Road Coffee. And I'm very excited. You've been sitting in the studio for, I think, 10 minutes, and we've already, I think, deeply connected. So I'm really looking forward to having that energy that you brought into the room shine through in our conversation today so that more people know about the great work that you're doing with the Chamber and all the things you're involved in. You're one heck of a busy individual.
Like I said, if I have time to watch TV, I have time to change the world.
I saw that when I read that, and I smiled. It's so true, right?
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my time on the TV. I love to unplug and relax. But when you sit there for longer than 2 or 3 hours a night, and even that, there's just so much that can be done in the world. And so let's direct our time to positive change.
I love it. Let's start by explaining who the Chamber is, and then I would love to hear kind of your backstory and everything else that you're up to.
Fabulous.
And then we'll come back to the Chamber again.
So I'm so proud of the fact that this chamber is one of the oldest in the nation. We were founded in 1980 as the Camelback Business Association. Dare say gay in 1980s, right? So the Camelback Business Association then changed its name in 2000 to the Greater Phoenix Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce. And that was quite exciting and cutting edge 23 years ago. That it just boggles my mind. But then in 2000, we decided that it was time to change our name again to become more inclusive of the entire community, because not everyone identifies as gay or lesbian. There is transgender and two-spirit and asexual and all numbers of parts and shades of our community. And so becoming the Greater Phoenix Equality Chamber of Commerce includes the entire community, not just two identities.
Mm-hmm. And you've been a member how long?
I have been going to these meetings since I moved here in 2006, and I think I went to my first meeting in spring of 2007. Off and on, it was really how I met my first friends here. When I first moved here, I moved here from New York City in 2006. So it was a bit of an adjustment, to say the least. I met some fantastic people and continued on with those friendships and with the organization. Got heavily involved 6 years ago now. Jumped on the board 4 years ago. And for the last 2 years, I've been the board chair. And I will run again in June to be board chair for another 2 years. But we are so excited that we are in the process of hiring an executive director again. So we hired an executive director in 2000 to build infrastructure, to build the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, COVID hit right after that hire. So we are in the process of going through resumes and starting the interviews. So by June, July, we'll have an executive director and onward and upward for this organization.
So great. Tell me about some of the initiatives that you're currently working on through the Chamber.
So our programming is growing and expanding right now. Our most notable that I think is different than any other organization in the state of Arizona is the LGBTQ BE, and that's a certification of an LGBTQ-owned business. That is done through our national affiliate, which is NGLCC, which is the National LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce. What that certification does is it allows you to be put on a supplier diversity chain or platform for these large corporations that are looking to diversify their dollars, their spend. We hire people that look like us, people that sound like us. We hire our friends. And this is a way for those corporations and those businesses that are looking to broaden their horizons and get a fantastic product, those that might not look or sound or be like them, but still have award-winning and fantastic product. So the supplier diversity is something that we're really big on right now and pushing the certifications within our chamber. What is a positive of that also becoming a member is that that certification is free
I was just
through,
going to ask.
yeah.
Okay,
So
if you're a member, it's free.
correct. If you're a member,
If you're a
it's free.
non-member, you
If
can
you're not
pay.
a non-member, it's $850.
Okay,
But considering membership is $199 for a
it's
year,
a no-brainer.
exactly, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So we have that certification that is absolutely huge. A lot around that certification and around our national parent. I can't say parent, but our national organization with mental health awareness, HIV in the workplace. There's so much that they bring to the table, and we are incredibly thankful for that organization and how they help feed dollars into the affiliate chambers and into our community. We also just did an LGBTQ pitch night. It was last Thursday. We had 6 businesses pitch, 3 of which were trans owned, TGX owned, which is very exciting for us as we try to grow the TGX programming within the organization. And all of them were young entrepreneurs, young businesses that are thriving, that are doing something new out in the community. Some fun waffles, some a beauty school, social media, a number of different organizations. But this is really exciting stuff for us to be able to incubate new and improving businesses. And what was really kind of heartwarming were the judges and panelists that listened to these pitches came back and said, we want to give more. We've already given 3 or 4 hours of our time. We want to mentor these businesses. And so they all agreed to pitch in, I think it was 6 more hours to give each business an hour of mentoring.
And was this Pitch Fest the first of its kind for you guys?
For us,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Yes. And our partners, wonderful partners over at over at Wells Fargo, funded it.
Fantastic.
So
And you'll do it again?
we will.
Do you have a date
We will
set
do
or
it
an
again.
idea?
And Wells Fargo has given us another
Already.
grant. So whether it's that or maybe a matchmaking opportunity for LGBTQPEs, there are a lot of possibilities. But the point is, programming is growing,
Yeah.
and so as we are building our infrastructure with staff, you can expect to see more from us.
I'm excited to learn more. For the business community at large, does it make sense for us to become members of the chamber?
Absolutely. If you're looking to connect with the LGBTQ community, this is one of the most direct routes. There are opportunities to advertise. There are opportunities to advocate within the community. But with the chamber, you're also going to have that one-on-one relationship building opportunity. And that is what sales are all about, right?
Yeah.
That's what our chamber is all about. Our chamber is never going to be a leads organization. That there are a number of great leads organizations out there, and by all means, please join one. What we are going to do is build you as a person, build you as a business owner, and help you build those relationships. And if you get business directly from that, wonderful. But most likely you're going to build a web of friends.
Yep.
and a huge network. And out of that network, you're going to find business as with any network, right? So it gives you that opportunity. And anytime you have a network like that within a community, it's just going to help you build your brand, your business, you as a person.
Mm-hmm. I want to go back to a point you made a few moments ago with regards to how we do business with the people that look like us and walk like us and talk like us. And I always say it's kind of the people in my backyard.
Yep.
Right? Just yesterday, we had a beautiful interview with AZ Next from ASU, so their workforce development, and a gal who's benefited from the program, and then one of their teachers, a business consultant. And it was great because Rob Bilo, who is the executive director for AZ Next, he said, we're doing our best to be inclusive, and sometimes we don't know what to do. But this certification is the first time I've heard of something like this. Makes sense to really fast pass our way to saying, this is important to me, and learning how to open up the backyard fence and be able to know strategically, obviously with great intention, like how do I open myself up so that I'm aware of all these other types of businesses and individuals making a difference in our world. And so much so that Rob pointed out that when they put out this advertisement or campaign for a speakers panel that they're doing, and I can't remember the topic, but Laura, who was the other guest on the show, who is an instructor for them and the consultant, she gave him feedback, and she's like, Rob, do you see that there's something wrong with this, all the speakers on this panel? You're missing representation from a variety of different business owners. They all looked and look like Rob. And he's like, oh my gosh, totally missed that. We're going to correct that. So I'm really thrilled about this certification and want to make sure that we're a great help to making sure that more businesses get certified through that. And then in that, of course, it makes sense to become chamber members.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that we don't even realize that we're doing it.
I know I don't.
It's absolutely not intentional either. But
sometimes.
Correct.
Let's
You're absolutely
be
right.
honest.
Let's be honest. Right. It's usually not intentional. We hope that it's not intentional.
Yep.
There are times where you turn around and you look at your board, your group of friends, your people that are around the table on your committee, and you realize I'm lacking diversity, and maybe that is a problem with HR and how they're hiring. It's not necessarily always the manager's fault or the owner's fault. There are other people that and there's no fault to be given. I shouldn't say fault. That's the wrong word.
It's habitual, and it's conditioning, and it's just where we've been.
Correct.
And now that we know better, we do better.
Correct. We don't want to finger point and say this is a fault, right? It is an issue that needs to be addressed, and that goes down to the very basics of how we hire and how we form these groups that lead within our business or an organization.
Okay, so we're further into the interview than I expected, which I'm excited about. But I want to hear the backstory because I don't know much about you beyond what I read in your bio. So you're from New York. Did you grow up there?
No. My father was in the service, actually. So I was born in Oklahoma, Georgia, Alaska, 2 places in Ohio, DC, Chicago, New York City, and now here.
Oh my gosh. A little bit of traveling growing up.
Well, the growing up part ended in Ohio. That's where my parents got out of the service and settled. And then I just continued moving and always loved a challenge and wanted to be someplace newer, bigger, better. And so no one could tell me no. So I just kept going.
And you traveled. Do you travel for fun?
I do. We do.
Yeah.
My partner and I, my husband is a flight attendant. So
perfect.
we travel quite often.
Yeah.
Our favorite latest international was to Cuba, and that was in 2019. And it was just so amazing to see that country that was always a hidden, we weren't supposed to go there, we weren't supposed to be there. And I love architecture and old architecture like that. It's sad, it's beautiful. The people were gorgeous and so nice. And we happened to pick the week that it was Jazz Fest. We happened to pick the week that the ballet was performing.
Not intentional. It just
right.
landed. That's incredible.
It just so happened
and
to be
right
that week.
before COVID, it sounds like. So wow.
Right before the last administration shut the borders again too.
Okay.
So we were able
it's still
to.
Closed.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Incredible
But
timing.
it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And that's what travel does for us, right? It opens us up to these amazing experiences that are outside of our norm.
Yeah.
And we get to meet people and see people and build relationships that wouldn't have been possible had we not.
Oftentimes find out they're just like me.
Always.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
I was in Italy with cousins. We were talking before we were on air about our shared ancestry. My father's from Italy. We're still in touch with that side of the family. We were out with his friends. This was years ago when I was younger, and we were just standing around talking, and there was a wall there, and what is that? And he goes, it's the wall to Rome. And I didn't understand what he was saying. I was like, what do you mean a wall around Rome? And then it dawned on me that wall was 3,000 years old, 2,000 years old. That was the wall to Rome, right? And
you're
it was
like,
just graffiti on it. And we're standing around talking with, his friends in incredibly bad broken English, but it was such an amazing experience to realize that here I was on another side of the planet talking with these people that shared likes and dislikes and music and current events with me in this historic place. That's why you travel. That is why
Mhm.
you travel.
Yeah, and thank goodness for a spouse that has flight benefits. That doesn't
It
hurt.
helps.
I love it. All right, so talk to us about your professional journey. What do you? So you're the board chair, of course, and been doing
Yes.
that for years. I also see that you're on the board, or we're on the board for the Phoenix Gay Men's Choir.
Yes, I'm
Wow,
I'm the vice chair for the Phoenix Gay Men's Choir. So that is a passion
does that mean you
project.
sing?
No, not anymore.
But you did.
I did, yes, years ago. I was a dance major and performed, and I like to tell people that was many, many pounds ago.
Really? I love it. Okay, so what are you doing today then? What do you do professionally?
So now, as with anyone who's been in the arts, you start waiting tables. And that was over 35 years ago that I was working in restaurants, and that kind of developed into where I am now, and that is an event business, Michael Mazzocco Events, and I have the honor of working with a number of nonprofits and families around the valley, and produce events in their homes or fundraisers and galas and resorts and different spaces. It's a lot of fun. I always tell people at the luncheons that I've been proudly proving my parents wrong, that I can make a living out of going to a party. Boy, were they wrong.
And you've continued to do it. That's
I do.
amazing.
I do. It's so much fun.
So large events at resorts to
Correct.
even just smaller intimate gatherings in homes. Is that what I heard you
Correct.
say?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, I've done a 15, 20 person plated dinners and in someone's home that, it's a client or it's an association, and they're bringing over donors. To this past Saturday, did a prom send off where it was a big group of friends and all of their families, and the person that hosted had it catered, and we had bartenders and staff, and it was just a little 4 hour, 3.5 hour, 4 hour experience, and everyone came over and got to take pictures all together, and all the families got to be there, and then put them on the buses, and they went off to prom together. It's amazing to set the stage for these lifelong memories, and that's truly where I think my passion lies, is that I get to stand back and watch these people make these memories and know that I did that. And I was joking with the moms as we're putting on the boutonnieres and the corsages that I'm going to be in all these people's prom photos, and they're going to wonder, who's that guy?
You're the master ceremony. Yeah. And how nice for the host, right? For whether it's again a small intimate gathering or it's something that's huge for the team or the lead person to have an event coordinator, an expert managing all that. It makes it far more enjoyable on the way in, at the day of the event, and then of course after as well. So
Absolutely. I
yeah,
love when we get to walk out and they're just sitting there having a drink with, the last few stragglers and friends,
as they
their inner
should.
inner group, right? Exactly. And I'm walking out with a clean kitchen, a clean, house. We're sweeping and mopping sometimes as we're pulling out. So we want to leave the house like we when we walked in on it.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of fun.
How do folks stay in touch with you for that? So for our listeners who might be like, "Oh, I've got an event coming up," or "I know someone who has an event coming up."
You can
What's
find me on social media
yeah?
at Michael Mazzocco Events, or michaelmazzoccoevents.com. That will
Hmm.
take you to my social media. During COVID, I let my website go. It was another expense that I didn't need. So that is on summer 2023 agenda.
Yeah, and really, so much of what we're doing is on social media anyway. A
Absolutely.
lot of people have been, kind of shifting their energy to putting their time and letting us know where they are on social media versus a stagnant website.
Right,
Yeah,
right. A landing page is all you need
yeah,
now. It's a digital footprint.
yep, good. And I'm getting a glare from Daryl, even if he doesn't know it, because I'm working on my website, which seems to be the never-ending story. We have a great website, which is our library for all the shows that we've done for 6 years over what I think we're close to, I don't know how many, 200, almost 300.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a big deal. And I also need some presence that says, well, here's what we do and here's how you get to be, a partner with us. So
Right.
I feel you. Okay, great. So we'll find you on social media for that. How do you feel, and you don't have to answer this for me, but how do you feel that the business community here in the Metro Phoenix area is doing around inclusivity and diversity? And how can we do more? How do we get involved? I mean, clearly become a member of the chamber and, be looking for and intentional about widening our circle.
I think widening our circle, like you said, being intentional. Yes, one community has a great program open for all, and I'm a huge advocate and constantly cheering on Angela and the team over at One Community,
Mhm.
being aware of that,
Yep.
being aware of those organizations that are doing some great work and lifting them up. Local First is another one that is just outstanding
Yep.
and love everything that they stand for and being that local advocate, which truly the chamber is.
Mhm.
It's all businesses within the greater Phoenix area. And so going on their websites and seeing who's a member, where can I find this? Because yes, you can find your birthday cards or those gifts at any store, but going to a store that specializes in Arizona artists or finding them on our membership directory for maybe a gallery that holds artists, what an amazing gift, right? So there are wonderful ways to support diversity, equity, inclusion without going out there and starting your own program or brand, but just supporting businesses that operate and that live within that.
Yeah. And even before we went on air, you gave a shout out to one community. You said you were just at an event recently, and I said how much we love and appreciate Angela. And of course, Local First as well. Thomas Bard does his show with us here,
Yes.
and Kimber Lanning has been on with us several times. So I guess that leads to a question, and I think I already know the answer. But given that you are the Greater Phoenix Equity Chamber of Commerce, that doesn't mean that you don't align with other organizations and professional business organizations that maybe offer different programs, or we all can come together, I guess is what I'm saying. And you've been a great model for that, as you talked about Local First and One Community.
We are all on the same highway.
Right.
We're all on the same mission. We are all looking to promote Arizona businesses.
Yep.
We might have different lanes that we're traveling in,
Yep.
but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to change over into your lane every once in a while and vice versa. And we all work together. It is absolutely that hand holding, as we were mentioning before. It's that kumbaya moment of how we can all do this together
Yep.
because we are not going to do anything apart.
We're
Uh,
not.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I love anytime that I can stand next to another organization that thinks, talks, speaks, has similar ideas. By all means, please let's do this together. I have met with numerous other chambers around the valley because we are the Greater Phoenix Equality Chamber.
Hmm.
Some chambers are, what does that mean? What, are you going to step on our toes? By all means, I want people to join their chamber as I would want them to encourage people to join ours. They have programming that we wouldn't have, and I can guarantee you that our programming is vastly different than theirs. So there is room for more than just one organization and one chamber and one membership and one association. Broaden your horizons. Go out there and be a part of the community at large. Our chamber is not just LGBTQ businesses. We have a lot of allies
And
that
nor
are
should it be.
members. Right, absolutely. That's why we're doing this because we want us all to be together. It doesn't mean that we're not promoting all businesses. We are promoting all of our businesses, but there have been inequities in the past and issues breaking into the business world or promoting within the business world or just holding your own within the business world
Mhm.
that other communities have had a hard time with. And so that's where we are helping and assisting and going that extra mile and giving an opportunity to.
Mhm. I'm not sure this is gonna come out clearly, but I keep having this nudge as we're talking. Sometimes, when I feel like I am challenged by or someone's doing something that I wanna do in business, or they're better at it than me, and I'm thinking specifically organizations, professional organizations. It's rare that when people come in here and talk about, what's important to them and the organizations that they represent, it's rare that they say, you know, only stay with us, we're the best. the Phoenix community is very collaborative, which I love so much. And I think my takeaway, as you were sharing just a moment ago, is that I still get the nudge. I'm human. I still get the nudge like, oh, I wish I was as good as them, or I need to be better than them, or I can only do this organization. I can't do this one. I think that nudge is not intended to keep me small and keep me separate. That nudge is quite the opposite. It's there to say, where's that coming from? What's the fear? And if I can use that as a threshold to step through to that next layer of openness and willingness, and competition is great. I don't know that we'll ever, take that away from human experience. But if I can use it as a catalyst to grow and expand, myself and my network is better off for it. So thank you for that little nugget.
I think that is just the American drive.
Yeah.
I think that we have that, and we all have that, and I absolutely have that about every single organization that I just mentioned. I want to do better, and I want to be as good as. I want to work
Yes.
collaboratively with at a different level.
Yep.
And that is that drive that pushes most of us
Yep.
to do better, to be better.
Yeah. Fantastic. Events that are related to the chamber. Do you have any events that are coming up?
So our next big event, I'm so excited about this. We have a net mixer on Thursday.
A
That's
net?
a net mixer, yeah,
Uh-huh.
a networking and
Oh,
mixer,
yeah.
a net mixer happening at Hula's on 7th Street.
I love
I
hulas.
had to
Yeah.
think of that address. That's on 7th Street, and that is very laid back. It's just a bunch of people. We get together.
Yeah.
We have a drink, whether it's coffee, water, or a fabulous libation. And they have fabulous libations.
Yeah, they do. Their food is amazing.
They
Yeah.
are.
I'm
Um,
sorry, Hula's on 7th, and what day is that?
that is on Thursday, 5:30 to
Of
7:30.
this week.
Correct, of this
Okay.
week. And then on June 2nd is our Heroes Award. That's going to be at the Foundry Hotel. That is from 11 to 2. And we will be giving out awards to a number of chamber individuals and community leaders for the work that they've done over the last year.
From 11 to 2 at
That's
the
gonna be
Foundry, another
very
great
exciting.
place.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. What a community driven place, and I love everything about that
Yeah.
property.
And that's June, what day
That
is
is
it?
June 2nd.
2nd. Wow. Fantastic.
So a lot going on, a lot coming up, and then the city goes to hibernate after that.
Yeah.
So
Ish.
right,
We
right,
don't see each other on the streets because the streets are scorching hot and you can
right,
fry
right,
an egg
right.
on
We're
it.
around a pool.
Right, exactly. We have the libations around the pool
Correct.
instead of at a venue that's, yeah, it does slow down quite a bit here in Arizona in the summertime.
It does. And I wanted to go back to, you'd mentioned the Gay Men's Chorus.
Yeah.
That organization is such an important piece to our community right now. The Gay Men's Chorus movement was founded out of a necessity to have a voice at the height of the HIV movement, when members of our community were dying by the thousands. And that was a way to give them a voice and a movement and a moment to educate and to let people know that we're here. Because remember that those first 6 people that died were on page 26, 3 years in of the New York Times. It was never mentioned by our leaders until 1986. And so we had to raise the awareness ourselves. And that was one of the ways. There was a little bit of PTSD, I think, within our community when COVID hit, because there was another pandemic sweeping through the nation, and there was only 3 people affected, and we were all ordered to stay home. I know it was more than that. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to belittle, but there were very few people, and the world was shut down. We were dying by the hundreds, and there was never a mention until we had died by the hundreds of thousands when our leaders were finally talking about it in public. And that was difficult and hard to hear. But the choral movement came out of that experience. And now here we are again, getting attacked by school boards, city councils, state legislatures. And this organization is on those stages, uniting, inspiring, educating, entertaining. I think it's more important now than it ever has been. And I'm just so proud of these guys that get up there from all these different walks and sides of the community and life and produce the sound that's gorgeous. We sang for the first time for the NFL game for Arizona Cardinals, sang the national anthem. And it was a very proud moment
No kidding.
to have our community represented like that in front of 30,000 NFL fans, and to know that the Arizona Cardinals invited us to do that. And we've sang for every sports team here in town, the Diamondbacks, the Mercury, the Phoenix Suns, but that was the last one. And the Coyotes, don't let me forget about the Arizona Coyotes, but the Diamondbacks were the last one. And it was a real honor and a pleasure and exciting. So that is the type of work that this chorus is doing. And people kind of think, oh, a chorus is not that important, but it is. It absolutely is, because there are 30,000 people in that audience, and there might have been one person that needed to see those guys on that field thriving and living their most authentic lives and living their authentic self doing it. And that is what it's all about.
You have a great way to share history, so thank you, because I've learned so much in this conversation. I've never heard them perform.
You have to
And
come.
I know. So on the website, can we can look it up and find out where they're performing?
Yes, the Phoenix Gay Men's Chorus will be performing at Tempe Center for the Arts on June 3rd and 4th. It's a very busy weekend for me.
Yes.
There's
So
several
that's coming right out of the
concerts.
and Heroes the day before.
Yes, correct,
Wow.
correct. So there are two concerts on Saturday, 2 o'clock, and I believe 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And then on Sunday is another 2 o'clock performance. And on Sunday, there's also a fundraiser called the Bonnet Brunch Gala. Because why do we want to get dressed up and be stuffy and raise money? Let's have fun.
Right.
So we're asking everybody to wear a fabulous hat.
That's on the Sunday.
Sunday,
So
June
fun.
4th at Culinary Dropout in Tempe.
Yeah.
And so if they go to the website, phoenixgamingschorus.com, they can get tickets to all of these
Yeah.
events.
Extraordinarily busy you are.
Yes.
And I'm sure you wouldn't have it any other way.
No. Like I said, if I have time to watch TV, I have time to change the world.
Yeah, and you're doing it.
There's so much that can be done in this city, and I love taking part and making a difference. Even with Arizona Costume Institute, it's another board that I sit on with the Phoenix Art Museum that supports the fashion collection at the Phoenix Art Museum, which is one of the largest in the country, founded in 1966. So tonight we have a man speaking on NFTs and technology and fashion.
Oh, wow.
You know, fashion isn't just the pretty things that walk down the runway or we see on the red carpet. There's this whole other side of the how and the why that go into it that is incredibly interesting
Yeah.
when you think about why or how, when, where we've incorporated programming into gender expansive clothing. That is nothing new. It is not because Billy Porter wanted to be fabulous. Gender expansive has been going on for thousands of years. People of different sexes and genders have been wearing clothing that is not their assigned gender clothing. And the whole pink and blue thing is only less than 100 years old.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of depth there
Yeah.
and ways to learn. Even how a man's suit is cut is constantly changing, and the world around us is changing. So I lots of interest, lots of ways to incorporate different viewpoints.
Yeah.
And so I love doing all of this.
Do you
I
know our
wouldn't
friends
change
at
it.
Fabric?
I do. I
Yeah.
love Fabric.
So
We
good.
partner with them quite often.
Such great people.
They are.
And I'm sorry, the name of that organization, the Arizona Costume Institute.
Correct.
Arizona Costume Institute.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes, at the Phoenix Art Museum.
You're fascinating. Really, I'm so excited to meet you. And I'm as we've talked several times, I thought, how is it that we've never met until today? Gabe, thank you. Seriously, I've been missing out. Wow. I hope you'll come back and spend time with us again. This has really been fun and so informative. We've hit so many points. I know really the intention behind our segment today was really around the Greater Phoenix Equality Chamber of Commerce. I'm glad we really had a chance to spend some time there. and also all these other great organizations that you're involved in, let alone your business. So
Absolutely.
great. And yes,
Yes,
Daryl sent us.
yes, Daryl gave me some information and thank you.
Good.
So our net mixer is at Hula's, and that is at 7th Street in Camelback, Uptown Phoenix location. And then on June 2nd is the Hero Awards. That's at Foundry, and that's at First Avenue in Portland. Without these glasses, I have to hold that paper far away.
Better you than me, because it'd be back by the step and repeat, and I still wouldn't see it. Okay,
I still
good.
don't want to admit that I need them. But
Same. My kids are begging me, please, just go buy readers, Mom. I can't bring myself to do it.
I can tell you often I say, "Oh yeah, that looks good." I have no idea what that looks like.
Right. Oh, my goodness. All right. Yes. One more time for your social media accounts for your business. And then let's give our last shout out to the Greater Phoenix Equality Chamber and
So
how
for
we
my
can find them.
business,
Yeah.
my business is Michael Mazzocco Events, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. MichaelMazzoccoEvents.com is the website that would take you to Facebook. But I am here because of my love for equality in business, and that is the Greater Phoenix Equality Chamber of Commerce. Our website is theequalitychamber.org. And that's the tricky one, right? .org. And you can find my email. Best way to get in touch with me and the chamber is chair@equalitychamber.org. So by all means, please, if you have love to spread and have questions and interest, by all means, please email me.
Awesome. Great to know you. Thank you so much for
Thank
spending your
you.
morning with us.
Thank
You've
you
been
so
listening
much.
to Phoenix Business Radio X, broadcasting live from the Max 6 Entrepreneur Center right here in Tempe, Arizona. Some media leans left, some lean right, and we lean business. Until next time, I'm Karen Nowicki. Thanks for listening.